Welcome back to SFR, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for SFR for round 6 of the Australian Grand Prix here in Melbourne. My name is Jamie, and alongside me tonight is my partner, Oliver. How you doing, mate? I wasn't there for the Belgian Grand Prix, but I watched it, and I thought it was a good race, because Cassidy, I don't think he's won a race this season yet, but he still has scored a podium. Yeah, he did. And Cassidy was the one that was leading majority of it until MDJ arrived on the scene because he fitted on that soft compound tyre and blitzed through the field. He almost got Cassidy towards the last lap. He caught up within under a second, but obviously it was too late for him, and he didn't win on the track, but he did win in terms of penalties. So MDJ takes a victory here in SFR for Div 2. He is a Div 1 driver now. He's a full-time Div 1 driver, so he is not here in Div 2. So I think these drivers will be a bit relieved and happy. But we were expecting, because Sauber are currently leading the championship. Both of them are 1 and 2. Yes, we have. You can, even though if you've lost some points in the early stage of the season, you can still make it up later on. But try not to make too many mistakes as the season go on, and try not to miss too many races either. And we are here in Melbourne then, first built in 1996, formerly known as Oliver. People can't hear you, mate. No. Paul, do you mean you can't hear Oliver properly, like he's quite low, or you can't hear him overall? Is that what you mean? I'll try and turn him up if I can. Just bear with us for a few seconds before we can get back on the track once again. So hopefully now you can hear Oliver. As somebody just said in the chat, last Copo beyond the podium. He had a decent race, I think. As we hear a car in the background, but not the Formula 1 car. What car did go past there, Oliver? So it was a bike that went past the window. And yeah, the Australian Grand Prix, first introduced in 1996, and is usually known as a season opener, as Emil's there flirting with the curbs to the outside, almost losing traction at the exit of turn 9, I believe it is. We make our way now into the heavy braking zone. We go, turn 11, which can be quite difficult. We've seen track marks there already, so somebody must have had an excursion across the gravel there. Oh, he's just invalidated there, has Emils. And people in the chat, let us know if you can hear Oliver, please, because that's really important to hear Oliver. But yeah, Emils will not get a banker down. And Paul says no. Still for you, Oliver. So Sonic Hawk goes quickest with a 17.0 as Energy Dan slots into second place. Now, Energy Dan was a very interesting person to watch because I remember him and Adrian was going side by side into Lacombe. But all of a sudden, when Energy Dan pitted for his first stint, his first stop, he just lost a lot of pace, unfortunately, and never gained those places back, even though he was the net P3. So pace loss there for Dan, but hopefully he can gain it here on Australia's Atlas Copo is up into P4. Keith is in P3 with a 17.1 as Lord Alam goes into P2 with a 17.068, so it's not too far away from pole, and it is his first appearance here in SFR2. So doing a very good job so far in the Williams, but there's still plenty of time to go in this session. We've got a lot of drivers who haven't set a lap time just yet because of validations or slight mistakes there, as we do get the telemetry up there. It comes running now on board with the Mercedes driver going down into turn 14 now through the final corner where we saw DRS first introduced here back in 2011. Adrian Suter, when he opened it up, spun at the exit of the corner, and here comes Ronnie, goes up into P6 in the Mercedes, is a 17.9 and he's 5/10 quicker than Mad G in P7. But what about the both Saabers? They're both in the pit lane so far, so not going out for the early exchange, maybe going out later, as that's their strategy. They probably want to save a set of soft compound tyres early doors, just in case for a safety car out here in Australia. And Oliver, can we hear you now? Yeah. Yeah, I'm watching. I'm watching the stream now, and we cannot hear you. So it's something to do on my end, I think. So I'm gonna have to check it out. So, but guys, there'll be a slight delay, but we should be back for poll as I'll try and see if there's anything wrong with my settings. Oliver, is your voice set to share? That could be the main. Yeah, it is. I think it is anyway. So Mansell, in the meantime, goes into P3, just beats Keith's there, who's 5, which is quicker than Keith. And Mansell had a pretty decent race. He was involved in a lot of battles. And Oliver, I just heard you sigh there. Is your voice not to share?
Yeah, now it is. Yeah, the reason being is I have just bought myself a new PlayStation. I forgot to set it all up on the voice chat settings. But here we go. I think everyone can hear me now, hopefully. I set my voice to loud.
So Oliver is finally here on the stream. Hopefully you can hear him. I thank you, Laser, for the resolution. I should have known that, but Lord Alem
thanks, Laser.
goes up to P1.
Thank you. Anyways, I was just about to speak about Energy Dan, and he's already. Hopefully, he can push on now. Hopefully, with his pace now, and also we've got Cluster and Calvin is just started the lap now in the in the Sauber. And we also got we've got MCFC on a lap as well in the Haas, who's just crossed the line now to go up into P6. So good luck there from MCFC. He has been struggling. He has been struggling to try and keep some consistency. Obviously, been so many incidents, but from what I've been told, he's actually been keeping things clean in the past recent weeks. So hopefully, he has sorted out his own driving style, which is really good to see.
Yeah, this game can be quite difficult. He was one of those drivers that picked up that drive-through penalty in Bahrain, but like you said, hopefully he can kickstart his season now with round 6 and finally be up there. It isn't a Sauber 1-2, by the way, my eyes deceive me. It's Adams who's lost the championship lead. He's in P2 and he's 11 points behind. Calvin races 1 point behind Adams, and Sonic Hawk is in P4. He's currently 4 points behind Calvin Racing. Mad G is in 5th, 1 point behind Sonic Hawk. Mansell's in 6th. Do you know what? The championship is so close. It's all to play for already in the early stage of the season.
Oh, isn't it just? And I really think we're going to get a really good championship in our hands here tonight, this upcoming season. Here goes Calvin. He's going to be like a low 16 into the 17th. P6 there for Calvin. 17th. But yeah, it's going to be so fun to see what's going to come in the load of weeks to come. I mean, we've got championship fights going on. Then we've got teammates to figure out as well. Here comes Zenon in the Ferrari, about to come out around the final corner. Zenon in the Ferrari. Let's see how it does cross the line. There goes the 116 mark now. Into the 117. Oh, Zenon looking pretty strong tonight.
Hopefully he is, because I noticed him Spa, he qualified quite high, but I think he spun out of no name. He got tapped by the back of somebody, if you remember that, Oliver.
Yes, well, I don't know if he got tapped. In my view, what I was watching while I was streaming, he tapped. I think it was the outside of the gravel, and I think it was his right rear that spun him. But if it was a tap and he made contact, he would have reported to Stewart's. But I haven't seen anything on that. I think he most likely took his right rear into the gravel, which is such a shame, because this soft start track, soft to hard, would have really been powerful around Spa, and he could have finished really high. But I got strong hopes for it tonight. Really good strong hopes.
And we just saw on stream that Cassidy and Martin are back in the pit lane because they both invalidated their lap times there, so not ideal there for the Sauber.
Martin's on another lap. Martin's on another lap.
Going for a second consecutive flying lap is Martin, so he's heading down towards turn 3. But I'm keeping an eye on Klusler down in P15 now. He was in Div 1 last week in Hungary. He's shown some phenomenal pace. He was up there in the top 10, but unfortunately he had contact with MDJ out of turn 3 and sent them both into the wall. Then it ended off in a dramatic race. The Sonic Hawk in the RB goes up into P2. So Klusler's ran in the final corner. DRS enabled for him as he's derating on the straight. He goes up into P8 then. So P8 for him, and he's currently inside that top 10 with 7 minutes left to go. Martin, however, where is he right now? He's coming through turn 9 and turn 10. And Sonic Hawk goes quickest with a 60.5.
Very good lad there for Sonic Hawk. As you can probably tell, the track is starting to rub it in now, so it's all going to get faster and faster as Martin is about to go towards the final 2 corners.
I'll tell you what, though, Martin through turn 11 was super close to invalidation, using every single piece of the racetrack as he possibly could get away with. So let's see what the RB driver could do. Both RBs have been looking really strong this season. They both had their misfortunes, but here goes Martin, a 60.9 goes P3.
Yeah, he just kind of some very massive incidents as Mansell now goes up into P4 after a brilliant P3 in Belgium. But yeah, it's just RB just getting into these sort of silly little incidents. Like Lascopo now goes over to P3. Very close qualifying tonight. But yeah, it's one of those really that RB need to figure out how to get this manager of consistency and really push on for a really good result for the rest of the race.
I think Sonic Hawk finished in P10 at the Belgian Grand Prix last time out, and his best result came in Hungary when he won the race, and he came P3 the day after in Div 1, so he's been on form this season. Burmeister is also one to watch out for. He's typically a Div 1 driver, but he's been placed in Div 2 as a reserve, so I'll keep an eye on Burmeister as he heads through turn 3. They're going out wide, lose the back end of the car, so compromised into turn 4 already as we make our way out of the corner into turn 5 where we saw Robert Kubica and Sebastian Vettel crashed in 2009. Now coming through turn 7 we go, look at that, fast right-hander we go as we make our way now into the chicane we go. Difficult chicane, turn 7 and turn 8. You really want to brake hard and try and use the curb on the outside, get back on the power without hitting the wall on the outside. We saw the Valtteri Bottas do that. Now coming towards the fast right-hander, left-hander, sorry. Do you know what? I don't even know what I'm talking about. There is no chicane there, is there?
Really, it's not really chicane, really. It's just a very fast left and right-hander, but it's one of those really you have to be super committed to. And a reprofiled right-hander coming out right now. That just crossed the line. That was Energy Dan good at the PA there. Good lap from him there. But here comes Burmeister in the Williams. Oh, losing the rear end there and going into the pits.
So I described turn 7 and turn 8 as a heavy braking zone. Then you want to be careful on the exit because you can easily hit the wall on the outside. So what I meant by that was I redownloaded to 2020 because there's 2 leagues going back to 2020, and we had the Australian Grand Prix of opening season, so I remembered that there was a chicane there, but it's not. It's gone into in 2024, so apologies about that one. But Zenom's going for another flying lap in the Ferrari. Currently sat in P6 so far, doing a good job. He's 2/10 up already the first sector, so keep an eye on him. Can he keep it up?
Because Cassidy about to cross the line, Jamie.
Where is he then? Here he is in the Sauber coming towards the line. Where is he? P7.
Yeah, P7. So yeah, let's talk about Zenon. 2/10 up already towards the end of the second sector, and he's 2/10 up again. A purple second sector for Zenon, looking pretty strong, and that's super committed through that fast left and right hander. Really committed.
So this lap might put him up into a net of P3, depending. Oh, a bit deep there into turn 11 we go. But this lap, if he finds more time in the last sector, could he get himself into second or third? We're about to find out. But so far, it's the Indian driver of Sonic Hawk has seen him there, going out wide again when we saw Max Verstappen go off. As Calvin Racing beats Sonic Hawk's lap time by 5 thousandths. Where's Sonic? Oh, look at that! Oh my goodness! Wow. Can the top 3 get any closer than that? The top 3 is separated by 5 thousandths per second at a track like this, 5.3 kilometers, and there's your top 3. Wow.
That is incredible. Wow. What a top. What? It's like what? Literally a minimum of a what? How can you say what a time gap that is? A blink of an eye, if you want to call it? That's madness. Absolutely madness.
Not seen the top 3 so close like that for a very long time, separated by 5 thousandths, I think.
But also, if you keep it on Zenon, he's actually got his teammate in front of him. I think Zenon is he pushing again? No, he's not. He's got his teammate in front of him. I don't know what the Ferraris are going to be planning to do here.
I think Zenon is going back to the pit lane quickly because his time's running out. his fuel's low as well, so that's explaining why he's pushing it around so he can try and get back in the pit lane to go for that extra flying lap. But Keith is down in the first sector, so he's not on a flying lap. What's Matt G doing coming towards the end of the middle sector? He's turned his ERS off, so I don't expect him to improve in that middle sector. So we're waiting for Mindful Wasp, who scored his first podium back at the Hungarian Grand Prix, I want to say. I don't want to get confused between Div 1 and Div 2 because that's what I've done sometimes this season, commentated for two different tiers. So the Red Bull Cluster is backing off. He's letting the Alpine go, and that's Mad G, who's also not on a flying lap time. Most of our rivals are in the pit lane, and we're just still waiting then the final few minutes to qualify to see who could beat Calvin's time.
So, Adams is coming on the lap at the moment. He's only a 10th up. Yaram is joined. So we've got a 19-car grid, which is good to see. I don't know if he's got enough time to get into his car and hopefully get out. He's running out of time. Here goes Ronnie in the Merc, and he goes up into P12. Very decent lap from him there. Emil's hasn't even set a lap yet, so Emil's is looking quite worryingly down there in P16, while his teammates are all the way up there in P2. Looking pretty committed so far.
A change of fortune between both Ferraris, but one of them's on a lap time. Here comes Adams, then crosses the line, goes up into P9 just behind Mansell. He's currently second in the championship then, so he needs to get as many places as he can to try and stay up there with his championship rivals. Cassidy, he's ahead of one of them though, who's third in the championship. I think Calvin leads it ahead of Cassidy, so I think Calvin there back on pole after a dismal race at the Belgian Grand Prix. Here he is then, showing his good pace once again, and majority of drivers are on the out laps, ready for their flying lap.
Mansell's going on a flying lap at the moment, currently in P8. He's got a car right in front of him. I don't know who that is. This is an Alpine of, I think it's either Mad G or Energy Dan. But Mansell got a pretty good little tow there from the Alpine, and now he's got the McLaren in front of him. So hopefully Mansell can get around the track as fast as he can. Goes off the very fast chicane. He's 2/10 up. He's looking pretty decent there for Mansell, looking for a top 5 finish.
And Mansell, using every single piece of the racetrack as much as he can to gain those limits as he tries to go through turn 11. Look at that, the car sweeping through very nicely there. No signs of the car stepping out as he has one good flow of the steering wheel as we head down towards turn 13 now. MCSC has retired, I think, in the pit lane. Here comes Mansell. What can he do? It looks like a pretty decent lap so far from the Brits. My Div 1 co-commentator. Here's Mansell across the line. Oh, look at that. 16.5 again. The top four.
Shut up, man. Oh, dear, dear, dear.
Mate, that is unbelievable indeed. But we still got Calvin, we still got Sonic Corp, we still got Zedum, who are on their final flying laps. Salt Martin is currently a few hundreds down in the first or middle sector as well, so needs to find some more time in the last sector he can. He's currently in P7 so far. Adams, Emils, Ronnie and Klusler have crossed the line to complete their last flying lap there, but Martin, they're trying to find as much time as he can now. What's happened there?
I just found out Sonicork is on a flying lap right behind Zenon, and Calvin is right behind Sonicork. The top 3 of qualifying is literally all on the same piece of track.
I think who just retired there? I think Atlas Copo just retired, but Martin goes up into P5, so he found a bit of time. And also the other RBs, who's that? Is that a Red Bull who's retired at turn 6 there? I'm not quite sure, judging by the map. But anyways, Zeno has exceeded track limits there, so Calvin's through and released. So Zeno will not improve his time. Where's Sonic Cork? Is in P3. He's just further ahead. Cassidy!
Oh, Cassidy!
Is on pole by about under 2/10 now. Great lap time there from the Sauber to put it on pole. It's a Sauber 1-2. But what can Sonic Hawk say about it? What can Calvin say about it? Here we are, the main contenders in the championship, about to round the final corner to cross the line. Can Sonic Hawk get back on pole? He can't. It's a 16.4. But what about the man behind? He also can't do it. Zedum can't do it either. It's Cassidy who's on pole. And let's see, second time here in Australia Grand Prix, can he try and win?
I'll tell you what, he got unlucky with the track limits in Belgium, but fought hard to finish in P2. But technically he did get the victory because MTJ was a reserve. But can he make this one a legitimate race victory? Can he make this one a legitimate race victory here tonight in Australia? And Sonic Cork and Calvin are not far behind, but look at how close the top 5 are. It's unbelievable. Even Martin's in there as well. It's going to be such a closely fought contest.
It is, and I can't wait to see what this race has to produce for us. I think it's a 29-lap race around here in Australia, 58 laps, half it, that's 29. And there is your times then. So Cassidy's on pole, the Scotsman ahead of the Indian, ahead of Calvin Mason, and the top 5 separated by under 2 tenths. Martin just further behind, ahead of the Saudi Arabia driver of Lord Alam in P7. Here comes Alas Copo, up to P8, ahead of both McLarens. Keith out-qualifies Adams in P10. Energy down in 11th place ahead of Emils. Mad G 13th ahead of Ronnie. Clusters in 15th. MCFC 16th. So both houses there are down, but can they make their way through the race? Burmeister into P18 ahead of Mindful Wasp, and that's your top 19. By the way, Oliver, people saying you're quiet.
I know. Get like loads of comments coming in saying that my voice is quiet. My volume is on nearly on maximum. It's not going to blow someone's ears off at this rate. I don't know how it's on quiet. Literally, there's nothing more I can really do, really. I can't turn up all the way to maximum. I don't want to blow Jamie's ears off, for God's sake. So there's nothing much more I could do, really.
So let's see what tyre strategies people go for. In Australia, I don't think the soft compound tyre will be used, maybe, but we'll see. I can see in the Red Bull garage that the hard compound tyres are right there. So Cluster they're going for a hard strategy. But let's read out the championship standings for you whilst we've got a bit of a null on the circuit. Castile leads by 11 points ahead of Adams. Carvin Racing in 3rd place, 78 points, 1 behind Adams. Sonic Hawk is in P4. Behind Carvin by 4. Mad G is just further back with 1 point between him and Sonic Hawk. Madsell's 6th with 70. Keith's in 7th with 67. Energy down 64. Atlas Copo 61. Martin 59. Martin's further back than I expected, but judging by his results, he did have a DNF at the British GP. And also, that's the wrong person, sorry. Is it the wrong person? I'm having a look now. My eyes are also... There we go. He won in Saudi Arabia, but had a DNF in Silverstone. And he also had a bad result back in Bahrain and also Hungary too. And Belgium for good measure. So that's why he's quite far down the championship, but his rivals thrived in that race. Sonic Carvin, P3, will be looking for redemption after his misfortune at the Belgian Grand Prix, where he spun, I think.
Yes, yeah, he did, yeah.
Kick Sauber lead the Constructors' Championship ahead of McLaren by about 10, 20, 30, 40, 38 points ahead of McLaren. So those two teams are separated by 4 points. Further back is Red Bull, Aston Martin in 6th ahead of Williams, Haas in 8th, Mercedes and Ferrari P9 and P10 then. So we're all set here for the Australian Grand Prix, just waiting for these drivers to get the signal to ready up, as there always is around here in Australia or any race in SFR, as that is the rules. But in terms of safety cars, in terms of strategies, do you predict to see safety cars coming out here in Australia, Oliver?
Yeah. I do think so. Yeah, I think safety car will be the main thing tonight, and also here at Australia, it's not about leading up the first lap. It's how you finish at the end of the race, and also the fact as well that at the start, turn 1 has been historic. Turns 1 and 2 has been historic of incidents. And even turn 3 has been historic of incidents as well. So let's say hopefully the first 3 corners of the circuit will provide good, clean racing tonight. Let's have a look at the tyre strategies. Yep, it's medium and hards, no soft tyres tonight.
I think I remember that 2004 race with Ralf Schumacher going over the top of somebody. Is that correct? I actually can't remember now.
Yeah, Ralph Airlines I used to call it when I saw that, when I watched the highlights of the race. I call it Ralph Airlines, but yeah, it was Ralf Schumacher went behind a car, literally flying as well. I also remember I watched this live back in 2008. I think it was Kimi Raikkonen. No, it was Felipe Massa. Got clipped at David Coulthard's Red Bull and absolutely tore the car's rear end into pieces. It was absolutely unbelievable. This circuit has provided so many wonderful memories back in this. So now the track's been reprofiled to make it a bit more fast, a bit more flowing, which I quite like, to be honest. I quite like the new circuit. Yes, there's nostalgia with the old one, but I like the new circuit. I like how it has really profiled out.
Yeah, me too. I remember that 2009 incident in the first corner, or could have been 2010, where Fernando Alonso, Marco Schumacher, and Jenson Button, I dare say, made contact going into turn 1. Fernando Alonso spun fully around with Michael Schumacher. And also in 2009, where we also had that first lap collision with Heikki Kovalainen, Rubens Barrichello, and also trying to remember now, was it Felipe Massa or Nick Heidfeld? I'm trying to think, or was it? I think it was one of the BMW Saubers. I think it was at the time that made contact into turn 2 or turn 1.
Yeah. I mean, you reading out those names, my word, it brings so much nostalgia of the names we had in Formula One back in the day. But here we go, the drivers are lining up now. This is it. The Australian Grand Prix round 6 of the season is about to get underway. What's going to happen into turn 1?
So unfortunately, we are looking at the rear view of the track instead of the front of it, like always. So something wrong with the cameras there, but it shouldn't have a trouble for us. And we've got 4, 5 lights. And jump starts for 3, 4, 5 people, and we are underway for the Australian Grand Prix. Here comes Adams then, flying through. He takes the lead, but the Sauber drivers are in a battle going down to turn 1. There's the RB on the inside of Calvin. I think Calvin's there on the grass in turn 2, but stays ahead. Lord Adam again gets up into P4, and Casti might take on Adams for P1 again as we go down into turn 4. We go to Ferrari's on the brakes. He makes contact there with Sonic Hawk. Sonic Hawk is sent into a slide, but luckily he saves it, collects it, and gets going once again. But he's dropped into P11 as Sonic Hawk. That drive-through penalty, whoever caused it, had a chain effect.
Well, I'll tell you what, what happened there? It's like, 5 drivers with drive-throughs? Unbelievable stuff. I don't know what on earth happened there. It's either the game or the drivers were so eager. There goes Lord Alam all over the back of Cassidy's Sauber. But he's not going to make a move down there, surely he's not. But here we go, a little bit of a lift there from the Williams car, but look at this, as we've got both Saubers on the hard tyres. That's going to be crucial for strategizing in this race, because if they stay out ahead towards the end of the medium tyre stage, them two will be absolutely romping away, and they'll be on the medium compound tyre. And as Aiden serves as drive-through, it's now a legitimate race lead for Cassidy, and ahead of Calvin, as DRS is now enabled for the rest of this race.
Yes, DRS then, a new rule introduced. I can see one of the RBs looking for an overtake there. That is Sonic Hawk looking to regain. That's so tight going into turn 1. He may have cut the corner and may have got a track limit violation there, so he has got one warning already, unfortunately, for Sonic Hawk, trying to regain some lost ground. That was so unfortunate because the Ferrari came steaming around the outside, and I think he turned slightly left as well, or slightly right, sorry, on my camera angle, and tagged Sonic Hawk. So it's unfortunate there, turning while braking, which caused Sonic Hawk dropped into P9. Maybe a first lap incident, who knows? But the DRS then is enabled. We've seen a lot of overtakes in league races and in F1 at this particular part of the track. And I can see that both Saubers are coming in a battle together. And here comes Calvin, then takes the lead away from his championship rival of Casti in P2. Remember, Casti is looking for his first of the season. There's Martin. I saw that. They were so close. I think, did Martin stay back? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, well defended there for Mansell, but he has got invited. The Ferrari steams down the inside of Lord Alam. Unfortunately, cuts the corner, breaks way too late, and look at that, losing positions at the same time. So Mansell gets promoted into P4 now. So with Zena with the 3-second time penalty.
Impatience there is what's going to cost Zedam, trying to go for a late lunge of Lord Alum, but couldn't quite pay it off. And now he's got the McLaren of Keith out behind him on the hardcore power tyres too. As we head down towards turn 1, we go. Zedam stays in 6th place. You don't really see many moves made into turn 1, usually down at turn 3. Or there comes the Sauber side by side again. That's Casti trying to retake the lead, but he can't do it. And Calvin stays ahead there. So these two Saubers are getting so close to the track. Remember, team orders were in play at the Hungarian Grand Prix, but not this time because they're both on a level playing field, both on the same tyres, and both fighting for a championship there. So this can get spicy as long as they can keep the Williams behind, because Lord Alum in P3 is looking very feisty. He needs to make his way through. He's on the medium compound tyres, the faster tyres and the better tyres at this stage. So he's looking for a way through. Here he is side by side with Casti as we go down into turn 9 and turn 10. You can see that Lord Alum is ahead before the corner.
Nice move there for Lord Alam. Had the racing line and pinching Calvin towards that inside of the corner, not allowing him to give him the overtake. Lord Alam goes down the inside of Calvin. Can he get the move done? No, he's not. Calvin squeezes him. And look at that now. He's got the Sauber of Cassidy right around the outside. Oh, what a move there from Cassidy right around the outside. Brilliant.
Wow. What a move from Cassidy. He lost the place, but gained one immediately around the outside. The speed, the confidence, the trust he had in Lord Alem there in P3, because he could easily gone towards the right. But here comes Cassidy then. He tried to take the lead into turn one. There's no tyre management going on here. There's no long-term pace. It's all about battles like we saw in the last Grand Prix. And Calvin there and Lord Alem is so close as we go down into turn three. Here he is. The Williams is up the inside of the Sauber. The Sauber trying to stick around the outside. Love the inside line for the next corner and stays ahead. Does he? Yes, he does. Just ahead of the Williams. Now the Williams is under massive pressure from Manso right behind. Also on the hard compound tyres. Manso looking for another podium this season. He's doing great so far. Is the Aston Martin driver. Can he keep it up? My Div 1 commentator, who is always happy when he gets a good result, which makes me better in tomorrow's race on Wednesdays. But here he is then. Third DRS or second DRS zone coming up. Well, no, actually third. There's 4 DRS zones around. I got confused between that. But here comes the Aston Martin then, side by side with the Williams as we go down into turn 9 and turn 10. The Williams are on the outside. And what a great defence that was from Lord Allen there in P3.
Talk about commitment there from Lord Lamb there, squeezing Mansell right mid-part through the chicane, unbelievable. And Martin just sitting there, Martin lost the rear end! Martin lost the rear end, and that holds up everyone up behind.
And that will probably lose the DRS towards 4th place. So actually, P5 downwards have broke the DRS train. I'm not quite sure what happened going down into turn 11 there. Martin lost the rear end as I saw it. Maybe got tapped by the McLaren or the RB behind. But however,
no, he rear locked. He locked the rear wheels and took him into a half spin. And here goes Keith now down the inside and gets the position. Took away that position from Martin.
This is going to be very hard for 5th place downwards to get in the DRS unless the guys in front battle so hard like they've just done. And Martin defending from his own teammate. We know these two made contact in the first race at Bahrain. They were in a high position, but unfortunately Sonic Hawk a bit too low the brakes and tapped his teammate out of the race. But hopefully it doesn't happen this time because they've both got strong pace. Sonic Hawk, the reason why he's down to P7 because of the Ferrari of Zedem there, who went towards the right as he was braking and therefore made contact. But we've got a yellow flag down, and that's the Mercedes, I think.
Yeah, it's Ronnie. Ronnie's round. No safety car, which is a good thing to see, because I don't want anyone to interrupt this battle of fighting. And
oh my goodness, have you seen the two Saubers? Look at that. They went side by side through turn 9 and turn 10. A Calvin stays ahead, but it's incredible racing. This is what we want to see in F1, because usually in the first stint you follow the DRS train, you try and stay in DRS, but actually in the opening stages of this race.
Usually for us, Jamie, if we usually like the smarter people, we just don't normally fight in the first beginning stages of the race. We want to settle down and get to a nice rhythm, then attack towards the end of the race. No. These guys just wants to attack from the very start. It's incredible action, unbelievable. Oh no! What a save from Cassidy!
Yeah, he lost at the exit of turn 2, went to the grass. Unfortunately, that's put him down into P4, so he's lost. He's lost his teammate. He goes up into P1. It's going to be very hard to overtake there from P4 now with the two of us in front having the DRS. This could bring Keith back into play. That second DRS train will bring Keith back into play. He needs to abuse that. Yes, he does. He used the DRS button to try and get himself under a second. He should have DRS on this third straight.
So this brings Keith, Masonic Martin Zenon, Energy Dan, Atlas Scopo in this race now for what looks like position change. And look at that, that's a position change here. Lord Alam and Calvin right around the outside, and bang, goes Alam right through into the lead.
I don't have the confidence in league races on this game to brake normally, never mind doing that around the outside or going down the inside. So the skill, but look at Keith, he's all over the back of Cassidy, who's lost a lot of time, maybe due to the dirt on his tyres, trying to scrub it off and trying to get the grip back. But that's unlucky for Cassidy down there in P4, making a very small mistake. He couldn't keep in the DRS train, but you never know if the top three continue bass like this, stay and bring him back in that DRS train.
And also, this is crucial for Lord Dalan now to be in the lead now, because now he's going to try and make that medium tyre stint work before he goes on to the hard compound tyre. Because right now, the hard tyre compounds will be going into effect very, very soon. So right now, it's all Lord Dalan now to see if he can get away from Calvin. But it looks like Calvin's going to stick with him. And Cassidy needs to try and keep up now and try and get back to his podium fight, but he's got Keith all over him as well in that McLaren. The Division 2 champion wants to now make gains now in his title defence.
And you can see that Keith is all over the back of Cassidy. He knows they need to bring himself back in DRS to try to overtake with a straight. But here they are, the top three in the battle. Yoho picks up a 3-second tap. And here comes the Sauber. Here comes the Aston Martin. Lord Alan might get swamped by these guys. We go down into turn on and turn 10. But actually,
mental lift.
Yeah, he did. So probably wise to it. He didn't want to make contact with the Williams driver there, and didn't want to go side by side in a place that's quite sketchy if you go side by side. Here he is. Here he is around the outside, but Lord Alan defends the inside line, keeps the race in line, and stays in P2. Great defence, by the way, from Lord Alan.
Keeps up to fourth. Keeps up to fourth. He's in this fight now.
This is incredible. That second DRS trade has caught up again, and we're about to see some more racing action. That was crucial that Cassidy let Keith go, because Cassidy didn't have the DRS where Keith did, which allowed us to be back in contention with these guys, especially with these guys fighting. Keith sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix, so he's got some pace underneath him. We haven't seen this since the Bahrain Grand Prix, where Matt G and Keith dominated first and second. But here we are then as we head down towards turn 3. There's midfield scraps going on there between Mindful Wasp and Mills. Oh, the Aston Martin getting so close to the back of the Williams' rear wing, but thankfully did not tap him.
Oh, this is just all-out race, non-stop action racing as well from all these guys, and hopefully the RBs can make progress, because they have got speed underneath those cars as Mansell gets all out of shape there, and his kid comes, the Division 2 champion, trying to overtake him. Here comes Mansell trying to overtake the Lord Alam towards the far chicane. Can he get the move done? No, he just doesn't have enough in there in the tank to get past him.
I think Calvin started slightly pull away now with those hard compound tyres. Like you said, the crossover point between the mediums and hards maybe started to happen. And here we are then, Mansell looking for another way past, but he can't quite do it. He has to stay behind the Williams once again. But as long as the Williams can stay in DRS of Calvin, it shouldn't be too bad. But Keith, look at that, looking very feisty, trying to get his first podium since the Bahrain Grand Prix, which was the first race of the season. And you can see that Cassidy is also confident of the brakes as we head down towards 13. Now in the final corner, and you can see that Lord Alam is 8 tenths behind Calvin. So there's medium compound tyres and maybe struggling, but don't do it into turn number 1. Maybe turn 3 is the best place to do it.
This is crucial for Mansell now to get past Lord Alam now, because this is the thing. He needs to get past it so he can stick to tail the Calvin. Can he brake late? No, he cannot. But Lord Alam has just got good confidence underneath the brakes of that car. As Energy Dan and Zenon are fighting, and look at that, Dan squeezes Zenon onto the gravel, and now Dan moves up into 8th place, but is out of the DRS of the 2 RBs.
And here we go once again on the third DRS straight here. DRS enabled once again, and we'll see what goes down into turn 9 and turn 10. Emails pitched by 3-second time penalty, and also Mansell desperately trying to get past Lord Alan there. Mansell, I don't think he's won a race yet this season. And here we are side by side into turn 9 and turn 10. Mansell's going to run the outside, has the inside line, and what a move! And Lord Alan gets out of shape out of turn 10, and Keith is through.
Hard but fair. Mansell gets that move completed, and that was a fair move. He didn't shove him off the track. He just puts his car there on the inside of that corner, and that makes the overtake complete. Well done, Mansell. He's in a race-winning contention, but also is the Division 2 reigning champion, is Keys. This is going to be an all-out, non-stop action race to the flag. We got another, I don't know, another 20 laps to go, and it's just only on lap 10, and we're getting so much action already.
We are indeed. We don't really see overtakes into turn 9 and turn 10, but thanks to this game with the DRS enabled, you have the overspeed, and you got to make a decision whether to stick around the outside or not, or back out of it. So I'm really glad that they've modified the track. We've seen plenty of overtakes in there as well in F1 in real life, where we saw Perez do it in 2023. Whether he got knocked out Q1 or crashed in qualifying, I'm not quite sure, but still made a recovery drive and passed those guys going down into turn 9 and turn 10. He did the same thing at Hamilton back in 2022. So this track has really improved a lot in terms of racing. Like you said, I miss the nostalgia of it. The first race of the season, obviously. It will be the first race of the season next year, back on the top again, like it was in 2019 and before.
I know, that's nostalgia, isn't it? Brilliant stuff there. But here comes Keith trying to get to overtake Mansell, but no use there. So Keith just gave Mansell a bit of a warning. I think Mansell now, what's he doing? I think he's now in ERS saving mode, I think, because I think he also attacked Calvin later on in this race, so he's going to be sticking things down.
Yeah, he used most of it trying to get past Lord Alan there in P4, but he's still there, Lord Alan in P4. Made that slight mistake in turn 9 and turn 10. Not quite sure if he got spooked or just lost the car, but here we are. Carver's defending there on the inside, but you don't really see moves into turn 1 unless you have a massive tyre difference. But here we are out of turn 2.
Though. That's going to cost him because here he comes.
Into turn 3 we go, and you can see the Sauber on the attack on the Williams. Does he get past him? Let's look further back, shall we? Oh, he goes out wide into turn 3, and he couldn't quite make the move. He has to stay behind. I lost a lot of time, actually. Losing the car again.
We've got a yellow flag. There's Martin! Martin's round!
He's lost the lead plate too, for good measure. And Cassidy, crucially, is out of the DRS range. That's another mistake there for Cassidy. I'm not quite sure if the Williams and Sauber touched, but it's cost him once again. Here we are on the straight. Here comes Aston Martin. Here comes Keith as well. Mansell takes the lead. Keith's up into Peter. There's contact on the straight. But luckily, nobody in a spin. That could have ended in tears with all three of them there. But Calvin went from P1 to P3. And now Mansell leads the race.
My heart was in my mouth there because the way Keith went right around the outside of Calvin. I'll tell you now, I thought them two will have a serious collision, but fair play to Keith following Mansell. Mansell leads the Grand Prix, and now Keith is right behind. This brings up a throwback of last season, actually, of Mansell and Keith fighting for the championship. Also Calvin as well. This is like last season all over again when I was racing Division 2.
And here comes Keith then. He might go side by side with Mansell on the straight. Into turn 1 we go. You don't want to go side by side through here. One of you have got to back up, but actually make it stick. Keith goes around the outside. Look at that. Gets a bad exit. Here comes Mansell once again. Calvin might get involved. As we go down into turn number 3 we go. Mansell's going over the inside on the McLaren. Can he make it stick? McLaren's braking later. Has more speed. Better exit. What a great defence there again. And he goes back up into P1. This is a mighty battle. Actually, what's happened there to... Where is he? Lord Alum in P13. I think he pitted. Yeah, he pitted on lap.
Yes, he has pitted. Actually, has he pitted? Yeah, he's just pitted, Lord Alam, for the hard compound tyres. So what, that's like 10 laps on the mediums, and he decides he wants to get rid of them. But here we go again. Mansell and Keiths. And Mansell gets right around the outside of the McLaren and gets the move done.
I wish Cassidy was involved in this battle too, because that would make it even more interesting, because he's the championship out with his own teammate in Adams as well. But it's the other McLaren. Here comes the Sauber now, going around the outside. Can he make it still? There's contact there, and Keith is out of shape. He falls down the way. He's into P3, and he will lose a lot of time now.
He got pinched by Calvin on the inside there of the right-hander, and the right rear Calvin touched the left front of Keith's McLaren, and that's what sent him into a spin, well, a half spin. Yaram's has got problems. He's now down to P15, but that puts Keith just in DRS range of Calvin, just.
Can he get himself back in DRS range? That's the question though for Keith in P3, because those two will pull away with the DRS if they can. But Keith there, he hopes that the top two continue battling out like this, otherwise they will pull away. Cassidy's also in P4, made a few mistakes into turn 1 and into turn 3, which cost him a lot of time, but he's still there, and Johan's retired in the pit lane, so there's no safety car being deployed.
So that's Johan's done at the end of the day. That's Johan's day done. Keith has got back into DRS range of Calvin, but speaking of Calvin, here he comes towards Mansell's Aston Martin.
Side by side now with the two. Calvin with the DRS open, and he should be able to overtake him easily. Yes, he does, as Keith just stays in the DRS range of Mansell. Remember, only one detection point for the two DRS zones in the third sector, so that's why Calvin has the DRS.
Actually, Dan is actually right behind Alan Scopper now for P5. So Dan's making fantastic progress at the moment, keeping his nose out of the battles at the moment. He's now all over the back of the Red Bull of Atlas Scoppo now for P5.
And I was waiting for a certain person to comment in the chat. Melissa Harrison is in the chat supporting her wife her husband, sorry. And Mansell looking for a move, looking for a dummy to try and put Calvin under pressure, but Calvin will not be fazed by that.
Dan's got Paolo Scopper for P5, but yeah, your husband, Melissa, is doing all he can to get past Mansell. Late on the brakes, but does not get past the Aston Martin.
It should be an undercut from Lord Alum and Sonic Hawk in P10 and the P11. There's more squabbles in the midfield, but I think those guys are pitting just further down, which they are. But like I said, so P10 of Lord Alum is enjoying this battle. There he is, trying to go side by side with one of the Aston Martins there. That was so close to contact, but luckily he didn't. He could do, I think Mindful Wasp could do his teammate a favour by keeping him behind a few more laps if he can, but that'd be quite difficult with the tyre advantage of the DRS, and also Calvin's been overtaken by Mansell again, and that was up into turn 9 and turn 10. That's where we see the most overtakes now in Formula 1 League racing, because you have a fast left-hander and right-hander. You've got to make your mind up where you want to go, and if you are committed to the move, you can't be half-hearted going down there, otherwise you'll spin or make contact. But however, Lord Alum in P9 has got past Manso crucially, and now we can start to try and pull in and close in before those guys go on the medium compound tyres. Here comes Sonic Hawk as well, also overtaking the Aston Martin with ease.
So is this going to be constant with the top three, just swapping positions all the time? With Cassidy 2.5 behind, watch just giving an eye on this, really, just hanging back. As Alana Scopper has just repassed Energy Dan, and there's Xenon spinning in the pit lane. With the new thing in this game is 10 seconds now, not 5. It's on full 10, which is unfortunate to see. Sonic Hawk is absolutely flying at the moment on the hard compound tyres.
Yeah, and he's also caught up to the rear of Lord Alum as well. Remember, he got pushed back at the start of the Grand Prix due to contact with the man that just been to a penalty of Xenon there in P13. It's a shame because Xenon's got some good qualified pace, but in terms of race pace consistency, he still needs to work on that. He has got good pace, but I think he's a bit too impatient. And like we saw with Lord Alum, trying to make a move but couldn't quite pull it off and dropped further backwards into P6. And now suffering with a 10-second time penalty. But the top three there are so close once again. And here we are in turn 9 and turn 10 with the DRS enabled once again on the 4th DRS zone as we head down towards turn 11, a heavy braking zone. We will see some moves going on here like we saw back in 2023 and 2024 as well, but no moves being made down here. But it looks like the McLaren's got a decent exit, but Calvin swings around the outside and stays ahead.
Mansell just gave the little 6/10 there on Calvin there after Calvin had to defend it. Keith's coming in, 14 laps in into his hard tyre stint, and Keith's is in. That's gonna let Calvin and Mansell know. I'm going to respond.
Oof, I almost had a heart attack there because I thought when Keith entered the pit lane, I thought he got a 10-second time penalty, but actually it was Zeno who picked up that 3-second time penalty. So that's 13 seconds for Zeno there, and after a good start in qualifying in Australia, unfortunately falls down in the race. So let's see
Sonic Hawk on Lord Alam. Sonic Hawk on Lord Alam into turn 1, and Sonic Hawk gets the move finished. Well done, Sonic Hawk.
I think I mentioned this before back in the previous Grand Prix. I think Sonic Hawk was fighting too much with somebody in the last few races. They just came out of the pit lane, and I said those two need to work together. They can't scrap on a brand new set of tyres. They need to work together, try and use each other for DRS and slingshot past each other, because they know that the medium runners will hunt them down towards the end. And as you can see, Keith is 4 seconds behind. That's the undercut they've gained. But the pendulum will swing back as Mansour Calvin is scrapping away again. That's side by side into turn on, and turn 10 is contact there between the two. They were fully side by side into both corners, made contact, but luckily they come out unscathed. This will definitely help the undercut attempt from Keith as Lord Allen fights again, but Calvin back in the lead. Will Mansour try and get past into turn 12? He'll try to, looks for the inside, but can't quite make it stick, and this will definitely help the undercut there for Keith.
And both cars coming in. That's 2 cars in. So Keys is just coming around into the. It's in the final sector now. This will be an overtake for the lead I imagine. So right now, it's advantage Keith's as the top 2 guys coming in.
It will be. That's a big undercut there Keith will have, because those two fought in a high-speed corner going slowly as they would have
wanted.
Oh, you know
what? This might be close.
It actually will be, you know, so I thought the undercut would be powerful, but here we are, down into one. Can he get past him? Just gets past him.
Oh my lord!
That's not promising there for Keith, because the guys are right behind him on the fresher tyres. He was hoping for about over 2 seconds the gap will be, but actually it's about 7:10. So those two haven't lost a lot of time, considering they were fighting each other earlier on in the race on the last lap.
Wow! Oh, Jesus, Lord Almighty! I thought Calvin and Keys are gonna make contact, but no. These guys are literally going tooth and nail. And Energy Tan is still stuck behind Atlas Scopo. Lord Alam's just gone past the Meals now into P4. You know what? Don't forget Lord Alam's been fighting with the top guys as well. Don't forget Lord Alam is still in this race as well, and the guys behind him. Oh, and Sonic Hawk was going on the grass there trying to get past the Meals. Gets the move done as well. Jeez.
Tried to do Alex Albon back in 2019 when he overtook somebody in the grass as well. I think somebody else also did it, but I can't remember who. But Cassidy, Energy Dan are in the pit lane. Alas Copo is staying out there for an extra lap or two. But I wanted to point out as well that I saw in the final corner a few laps ago, I think Energy Dan had a bit of a moment which allowed Atlas Copo through, hence why I overtook him on this straight. But yes, the other leaders are in the pit lane there to get rid of the hard compound tyres, to put on a new set of boots to go towards the end. And let's see what's going to happen towards the end of this Grand Prix. Who is going to win? Will it be Lord Allo? Will it be Keith, Sonic Hawk, Calvin Racing or Mansour? It won't be Sonic Hawk because he's got a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately for him.
The only benefit that Sonic Hawk has at the moment is Keith is still 4.2 seconds behind, but that gap will start to close down once those compounds get up to speed very, very quickly. So right now, Sonic Hawk does need to push and stick behind Lord Alam and literally make that DLS work in his advantage, which he is now. So this is actually going to be an overtake here for the provisionally raced lead as Sonic Hawk gets past Lord Alam.
I'll tell you something though, when Keith came out of the pit lane, he was 4.2 seconds behind 2 laps ago. That was 4.6, so actually Keith hasn't gained on second or third, the net leaders of this race. And here comes Calvin on Keith, and as we go down into turn 11 we go, side by side with the Alpha and the McLaren, and the Sauber goes through. And I think Mansell's looking for a way past, but he can't quite do it. There's a yellow flag. Somebody has crashed out of turn 11. That's a Ferrari. It's Zena was spun and hit the wall. Let's see what he's done. He's lost an end plate, thankfully, or 2.
Oh dear, dear. Poor Zenon just can't get it together, unfortunately, which is so unfortunate. But this is crucial now. Calvin, Keith, and Mansell need to work together. Even though they don't want to, they've got to work together to close in on Lord Alam and Sonic Hawk, because these two are pushing hard. Them two are still fighting away. Lord Alam just putting a really good move on Sonic Hawk there for the race lead again. 4.6 is the gap between the top two, and then it's Calvin, Keith, and Mansell. It's all down to Calvin, Keith, and Mansell if they really want to work together or not.
Despite being on the better tyres, they're still not gaining on the top two ahead. So these two got mighty pace on the hardcore power tyres. We saw this back at the Hungarian Grand Prix where Sonic Hawk was on old hardcore power tyres, and the likes of Calvin and Casti couldn't close in, and he's won the race due to that as well. So the hardcore power tyres looks like it's a good compound. Keith has overtaken Calvin again. Here we are. That's a late move around the outside. He did it, and he almost pinched Calvin on the exit too. But the DRS enabled. He should be able to stay ahead of the Sauber. The more these guys fight, the more time they lose towards the top two. Same with the top two, really. The more these two fight, the more they gain in. So it's like a back and forth race.
It is, because the thing is as well that Sonic Hawk has had that 3-second time penalty. It's still hanging over his head, but the gap is now finally starting to come down now slowly. Where's Mansell? There he is. He's still there. 1.5 behind. Did he make contact with someone? I didn't see it, but did Mansell make contact? He's lost time.
I do remember him right behind these two on turn 9 and turn 10, but he must have made a mistake of his own. Here comes Calvin, then side by side. Not enough room around the outside to go there. As room as Barrichello back in 2011 when he tried to do that move, and he spun in the gravel and ended his race right there. Look at these two, still scrapping away. They're losing time though. They're constantly losing time towards the top two. The top two on the hardcore power tyres are pulling away.
This is not good. This is so not good for these three, because the thing is, they're just losing heaps and heaps of time. It's now nearly 4.5 seconds between the top from third to second. It's not good. They need to work together to make the middle compounds work. But it just don't want to do that. They just want to fight.
And the gap is 5 seconds, so it's extended by the minute. Here comes Mansell now on the McLaren driver, and he overtakes him for P4. Do you know what? If Lord Alan wins this Grand Prix, his first attempt here, he's done a fantastic job. He's put under source of pressure in this Grand Prix by the likes of Sonic Hawk, Calvin, Mansell.
Oh, Sonic Hawk's crashed!
Oh dear, crashed at the exit of turn 13, and he's lost his end plate, so that releases Lord Alan. Could he win this Grand Prix?
Sonic Hawk lost the rear end just before the final corner, and that just gives Calvin a bullseye chance to catch Lord Alam. But he needs to. It's down to Mansell and Keith if they can work the Calvin to catch Lord Alam. 5 seconds is still catchable, but they need to push hard now.
The benefit for Lord Alam now in P1, he hasn't got Sonic Hawk to hound him anymore. He can race by himself, he can control the gap, and he hopes that the guys behind will constantly battle out. There's 9 laps left to go in this Grand Prix, and Lord Alam's looking very good right now to get on his way for his first win on his debut. The Saudi Arabian driver on his debut did a fantastic job. Can he keep it up? There's still a long way to go. A safety car. We'll see that what will happen in the last few maiden laps of this Grand Prix. These guys are gaining, then the gaps go back up, so it's fluctuation all the time.
It's a proper yo-yo effect at the moment between from first down to Lord Alan, Calvin, Mansell and Keith. It's just a yo-yo effect 4.5 seconds now, so the gap is coming down again. So maybe these guys, maybe they've figured it out now. They need to work together. There's Lord Alam in the foreground, and there's the guys behind the chasing group in the background. It is down to them three if Lord Alam can win this race. It's down to these three drivers you can see on your screen right now.
So they gained an extra 6/10 on that lap alone. But here comes Mansell now battling with the Sauber. There's a yellow flag in the third sector. But here we go with the Sauber. The two green cars go wheel to wheel. And the dark green car gets ahead and puts himself into P2. But I don't think these guys will catch Lord Alam, you know. I think Lord Alam will control the pace. And these two will continue to scrap amongst themselves.
Yeah, I've been starting to agree with you. I think, in my opinion, in our opinion, the lead's gone now. It's just down to second, third, and fourth between these three. And oh my word, Keith's right around the outside of Calvin. Nice, and guess the inside line there. Maybe trying to catch Mansell as well. Down towards the inside. No, doesn't get the move done.
The gap is 4.3 now as these three continue to scrap amongst themselves. Brian Cassidy is not brought into this battle. He's just behind 3.4. Here comes Calvin now. Looks for a double move. Tries to force his Keith into a mistake, but doesn't do it. I think this is all about the final podium of the race, you know. Who is going to get that third spot? It's going to be very, very interesting because Keith hasn't got a podium since the first race of the season. Laser says got no idea why second and fourth are battled. He's got a spelling mistake, so I don't know what he's saying there. But yeah, I don't know why second and fourth are
battling. Yeah. It's just the way it takes, really, to be honest.
Calvin almost lost out of turn 1 and turn 2. I think he did, but just saved it. So lucky escape there for Calvin, looking for another podium after a dismal race in Belgium, finishing in 16th, which is last in that Grand Prix.
Yeah, so yeah, it's very touch and go. So it comes to the final stages of this race now. The RBs, poor them. They're showing strong pace, but again, they're going to lose more points in this championship now. Now they're 12th and 13th, which is so unfortunate for them. Zeman again, it's just been scrappy, unfortunately. He's going to push on, of course. But his qualifying pace is amazing. But there goes Keith into second. But it needs now to take into effect. The RB need to find more consistency. It's not their fault, of course. These things happen. So hopefully, RB can work out some kind of strategy. Because right now their constructors' fight is going to be slipping away towards the end of the season if it carries on like this.
Yeah, it will be as well. I think they're second or third in the championship. But anyways, the gap is 4 seconds between Lord Alam, the Saudi Arabian, on his debut here in Australia. 4 seconds ahead of Keith. But I bet these three are frustrated, you know, trying to catch Lord Alam, but at the same time wanted to fight amongst pride against themselves. So maybe not thinking about the long-term game and thinking about fighting each other. Do they know that they can catch Lord Alam if they stop fights like this? But here they are. They're just making moves left, right, and centre, aren't they? Into corners like turn 3, turn 11, turn 9 and turn 10 and 11.
It's been very entertaining, of course. It's just they now cost themselves the race victory. The race victory is now gone now. It's the battle for second and third, the final podium places. It depends who finishes second and who finishes third out of these three. There's only 3 spots. 1 spot's already been taken. Now it's down to the other 2 spots as Mansell gets past Keith and into the second place position now. He needs to hold on.
Mansell is looking for his first podium of the season. Keith is looking for his second podium. The first podium he picked up.
Second. Mansell already scored a podium last week.
Yeah, that's 2 podiums. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. So Mansell's got 2 podiums already. Looking for his third podium this season, the highest he'll get, the highest driver with a podium this season if Mansell stays there. Calvin, disappointing race in Belgium, won at the Silverstone Grand Prix. He's looking for his third podium too. And Keith is looking for his second podium after scoring and winning the Bahrain Grand Prix. And after that, he has been struggling. But Keith is back on pace. It's just nice to see him back on pace. Can he keep it that way throughout the whole season? He had a difficult last few races, scoring quite a few less points than he would have wanted and expected to the first race of the season.
So 3.4 now. The lead of the race is still controlling it very supremely well. Mansell it's going to be having it's going to have problems because here comes Keith and Calvin. No! Oh no! Keith has got a time penalty. That's his point of gone. And Cassidy's got a time penalty.
Well, Keith knows he's got nothing to lose now, so what will he do? Continue fighting like this? And here comes Calvin now. Theoretically, he doesn't have to fight, but he will fight for pride on the circuit. He wants that podium, he wants second place, as many points as he can for the Constructors and Drivers' Championship to extend his lead over Adams in P2. But Adams will lose P2, unfortunately. Where is he right now? Currently down in P11, winning a lonely race down there. Is the second McLaren driver. He's scored a few podiums in a row, has Adams. Look at Keith there, struggling at turn 12, and that puts the Sauber all over the back of him. Now, that penalty will be playing on his mind, and therefore more mistakes will be made, because you get so frustrated when you pick up a penalty, you start to make a few more mistakes.
So, 3.4, still the gap between second and first. Lord Allen leads, controlling it well. Keith has now got that penalty, like you said, it's playing with his mind. It's one of those now. The Calvin, does he want second? He needs to get. If he wants to get second, he's got to get past Keith. But Keith, it's no slouch. As Burmeister overtakes the wheels, well done to him. There goes up into P8 in a ghosted Williams. Don't know why.
Yeah, I wanted to point that out because I went on board with him a few laps ago. He was a ghost. Calvin gets a very wobbly exit at turn 7, but Burmeister's been a ghost majority of the time I've seen him. Is he still a ghost? Yes, he is. So he's a ghosted car. I'm not quite sure why he's a ghost right now.
Maybe it's Casper the Ghost that's driving his Williams. I don't know.
The Flying Dutchman in P8, and he can ghost his way through people and gain positions like that. But I like how he overtook on the right hand side like you normally do. Alas Copa Energy Data swapping places in P6 and P7. But yeah, fair play to Burmeister if he actually is a ghost and making overtakes like he normally would, overtaking somebody on the outside or inside.
Yeah, definitely. At least he's playing it fair. That's the main thing. Plus, I guess, his 3-second time penalty for his multiple warnings. But what a weird start to this Grand Prix. You've got 5 drives on a drive-through. That's all finished. Now we've got these 3. We had a humongous scrap in the entire race between these 3.
And there he is on the inside into turn 1. That's so close, and he almost made contact with Keith going down into turn 1. And Calvin also gets a bad exit. He's got to make sure he doesn't pick himself up a 3-second time penalty, because if he does, he's essentially a level playing field with Keith. So be very careful with challenges there, Calvin. You risk it all going into turn 1.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? I think the mini compounds now are starting to get fried now. Because of the peak level of their performance, as Lord Alam, it's just played a beautiful race. Really, he stopped earlier than the 3 guys behind him, made it work, and now he's literally leading the Grand Prix, controlling it well. He's done a fantastic job out there. Hopefully, he does not make any errors, any silly little errors, and he'll go on and win this Grand Prix.
So where I think they've lost this race is when the 2 of them came out together with Keith, as Keith did the undercut before, but wasn't really much of a threat. And they immediately started battling ever since they came out on that medium compound tyre, and hence why they're so far back and can't catch him up. So they lost the race when they came out of the pit lane, I think, instead of working together to try and get Lord Allen in P1.
Yeah, that's what cost the race victory today. It's the medium compound fighting away against each other, not working together, and here comes Keith now overtaking Mansell. Mansell does not going to give 2 flying damns about this, really. If he just needs to stick behind Keith, so he can just romp away with it all he likes, but I don't think Mansell's going to be doing that.
I know Cassidy. There goes Mansell on the outside again into turn 2. That's another great move. See some lovely moves in this race. And I like how he fights turn 9 and turn 10. Not much contact is made, even though it's high-speed corners, left immediately to right. And that's what I love about it as well. These guys battling in fairly and respectfully. Maybe a bit too hard, but hard is racing. But we've got a yellow flag. There's no safety cars now because it is the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. I think it's a Ferrari and Zenem there who is spun, and Ronnie goes through. But here comes the Sauber now, overtaken on the grass again. And that's the way to go as the Sauber slots its way in the middle.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's been, you know, found out. So this whole stream has mostly been about these poor other guys behind the field. Instead of doing any TV time at all, because these 3 fellas are just fighting away by the entire race. I feel sorry for these guys behind, because it's mostly been these 3 steering the show today.
Yeah, I like to mention every single driver on the circuit when I'm doing commentary, even if they're not doing anything and they're lonely. But it was coming towards the last lap of the Grand Prix, and here comes Calvin. They're taking P2 legitimately on the track. This is a battle for P2 going down into turn one, and
Oh
Calvin has the
yeah.
inside line, and Mansell gets swamped, and here comes Keeper on the outside with the DRS. Will he take 2 for 1 here as we go down into turn 3? We go. There's not enough room to go the inside or outside, so he has to stay behind Calvin. Very wise to it, and defends in the right place at the middle of the road. Energy Dan and Alas Copo are still scrapping. Those two have been together throughout the majority of the race. Actually, Energy Dan goes out wide, but he still has the racing line on the inside line for the next corner. But this is going to get so close going down onto the third straight. With the DRS enabled, the battle for P2 is still on. Calvin looking to take his way as many points as he can in the championship. He's got Keith out behind him, and also Mansell with the DRS. And here we go then, the two going side by side. Mansell flies past, but I don't think he has enough in the tank to get past Calvin Racing.
No, Mansell drained all his ERS there to get past Keith. So this is going to be Calvin legitimately going to get a P2. Lord Alam is about to win the Grand Prix about to win the Australian Grand Prix. What a debut and what a return to SFR for Lord Alam. It's his race victory.
Here he is around the final corner. The Saudi Arabian driver can see the checker flag in his sights on his first return here in SFR in Australia. He crosses the line and he wins the Australian Grand Prix. What a drive. And here we are. That's Mansell versus Calvin. He can't get him. It's only a 10th between the two. Keeping P4 with that reluctant penalty he has. Cassidy with his lonely race in P5 ahead of Atlas Copo, who beats Dan in the end. Those two are fighting quite a lot. Burmeister, is he ghosted? Yes, he is. Still ghosted. I'm not quite sure why he's ghosted there.
Wow. Wow, what a race. What a race. What a race.
Emils, fantastic job by the way, stays in the top 10 and that's his highest result of the season, so good job to him in the Ferrari. Haven't mentioned him throughout the race, but done a fantastic decent drive and beat his teammate who qualified further up. Actually, I think his teammate's right at the back of Ronnie. There he is then. Zedam overtakes Ronnie, and that's before turn on the turn 10. He should get that move stick, and he is, and he goes up into P16. Madji is next across the line in P15. A difficult race for him, the man who finished second in Bahrain behind Keith. But here is Madji then coming towards the line, finishing in P15 with Krusler just further ahead. Sad race for both RBs there who qualified high, but both had issues, especially with Solid Hawk as well. And Lord Alam's already joined the party, as we can see that Zedam comes around the final corner. He should claim P16 after a good qualifying session. Impatience was the reason why he fell down the order, and in the end he finished in P16 after trying to overtake the man in the party of Lord Alam. I presume he made contact with him going down to the turn 11 in the heavy braking zone.
Wow, what a Grand Prix. What a Grand Prix that was. Burmeister gets driver of the day for being ghosted. That's quite funny. So the Flying Dutchman, as you call it, he gets the driver of the day. Well done to him. But there we go. Lord Alam gets his race victory ahead of the two Brits of Calvin and Mansell. Unbelievable. What a Grand Prix. What a Grand Prix. Can't wait to hear what Calvin and Mansell have to say on their fight. And it's going to be funny in the Discord chat between those three drivers. But we have got Lord Alam in the party. He's hearing us blabbering on about it. But he literally made this race after the pit stops. He pitted before the leaders and made it work for him. It literally made it work. And what made it is the guys behind him fighting it out. But there's your classified race result.
There it is then. So the man from Pakistan wins the Grand Prix ahead of Calvin Racing by 4.6 seconds. That was the constant gap as well between those guys. Also, Lord Alam gets a better lap time than Calvin and Mansell despite on the medium compound tyres. Keeping P4 ahead of Cassidy. Alas Copo in 6th place ahead of Energy Dan. Burmeister 8th ahead of Emils in 9th. Sonic Hawk rounds off the top 10, and there is your other finishers there as Lord Alam's left the party, so hopefully he can join back if he's able to do so. He's in the game chat right now.
Let's hope so. Hopefully he can join back. But wow. What a race. What a race. What GG to all of them.
It seems like the medium to hard strategy is becoming more popular now because those hard compound tyres are still good in the second stint despite mediums being a little bit better. But actually we see some more mediums to hard strategies working out rather than mediums to soft, hards to medium, sorry.
So Lord Alan's going to join back in a second. So I did invite you, Mansell. I did invite you.
There he is then.
Mansell invites. Here he is. So you can interview Lord Alan if you want to.
Yeah, I'll start with him first because he's the first man of the party. So, Lord Alan, mate, welcome to SFR, and it's your first win, despite being your first race this season. How do you feel? Did you expect to win today from those starts of the medium compound tyres? Yeah, he did spin. And when the guys behind you, the three of them, pitted for the medium compound tyres, were you a bit nervous? Did you expect them to catch you quite quickly on them mediums? You muscled your way past those guys because you started down in 7th place. You got past the likes of Mansell, Keith, Martin, and Sonic Hawk, and on the back of Calvin and Cassidy too. You made some fantastic moves in this race as well. And when you came out in clean air, you pulled away. You and Sonic Hawk were fighting. Were you hoping that Sonic Hawk would stay in your DRS, or you follow each other to the DRS? Because the more you fight, the more chance of those guys catching up behind you would get your DRS again. We saw the gap constantly at 4 seconds. So when did you constantly check the gap between you and second place and think, oh, the gap's stabilizing, I think I could just chill and relax, well, not chill and relax, but you know what I mean, just like calm the pressure down a bit? Even with a 3-second time penalty, you still would have finished ahead of the guys behind. So that's the pace you had as well. And I think you're my driver today for sure with that strategy, mediums to hard to finish, started in 7th place with some great moves. What happened between you and Zedon there in turn 11, if you remember? The Ferrari driver. Yes. And your first race of the season, we expect to see you more in the next few races because you've got some good pace here as well. So I want to see you what you can do in the next few races. I'm trying to get the calendar up as well, but I can't exactly remember what the next race is, even though I looked at it a few minutes ago.
The next race is China.
How do you feel for the Chinese Grand Prix?
Oh.
Well, Lord Alan, you're a very lucky boy because we start from P3 upwards, so we ask a lot of questions. So you would have made it on time. We could have interviewed you, so we're lucky we start with you. And how?
We'll let you go then.
One last question. How do you feel if the Chinese Grand Prix for your next upcoming race in 10 minutes? Oh, Imola. How do you feel for that? Yeah, you got some good pace in Australia, so hopefully you can transfer it to Imola. You may be a bit tired, are you? Surely, after doing those league races for consecutively. Fair enough, mate. And we'll let you get off then and enjoy your Imola race, mate. Good luck. See you later, mate.
Right, see you later. But here we go, James. This is what I want to listen to is Calvin and Mansell. Unbelievable, them two. Unbelievable with Keith involved as well. But who are we going to start with? What? Shall we start from Calvin, who finished in P2?
We'll start off with P3 as we usually do. So
yeah, let's go Mansell then.
So Mansell, mate, nice to talk to you again, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. But how do you feel about this race? Because did you feel like there was a chance to win it because you guys were on the medium compound tyres? But do you think you guys fought a bit too hard, and hence why you couldn't catch first place and second place at the time with Sonic Hawk there?
Hello, both. I don't even know what to say. I spoke to Ollie last week on the podium. I mean, it was very similar to Saudi. You just couldn't break the DRS. It's DRS. It's as simple as that. I mean, it's great strategy from Lord Allen. I wasn't expecting him to pull away like that. I was expecting us to catch up a bit. We were catching, but obviously the cut off between the hards and the mediums was starting to come in, so he was starting to pull away again. So I was like, right, well, P1's off. So it was all about defending Keith and Calvin. I was defending most of the time. But yeah, like I said, it's just difficult to defend, especially with the DRS really strong. But yeah, no, I'm happy with P3.
The fighting was literally incredible, unbelievable from you three, unbelievable. At the beginning stages of the race, you started in the top 5. You dropped a couple of positions, but the DRS train was so powerful. But then, because of the end, the fighting and the battle for the overtakes for you three was unbelievable. What was your mind process going through all of that?
Well, I've been racing, I've been racing Calvin for, well, pretty much since season 8. And I can't even remember both of us having an incident. So I respect him massively for his racing. Same with Keith as well. I mean, I've only raced with him for a couple of seasons. Again, not really any incidents with him, so I respected them both. I know how they defend and how respectful they are towards being side by side as well. So I didn't have any issues. I wasn't scared of doing any overtakes. But yeah, it was a really good fight with these two today. I really enjoyed it, especially how last season ended with all 3 of us. But yeah, no, hoping to carry this on until, well, the rest of the season really.
And Oliver, you are P6 the championship right now. You'll go up to P2 at the end of this race, I think. Maybe near Cassidy, but Cassidy did finish behind you, I think, or P5. So you moved from P5 to P2, or P6 to P2, sorry. Are you thinking about the championship fight, or is it a bit too early? Because you started to get some really good results. This is your 3rd podium of the season. Is this going to boost your confidence too for the next few races?
Again, it's still early. Yeah, I had a slow start to the season. I was just, it's just going race by race really. I know that there's still a couple of tracks coming up that it's not my strongest. I mean, especially next race. I just can't wait to get that over with. But yeah, I mean, yeah, no, we'll just have to see what happens race by race really. I mean, I know Calvin has struggles with a couple of tracks this season as well. Yeah, again, it just needs to take as much advantage, well, as much as an advantage as he can from every single race, really, because I think it's going to be a very close season once again.
So, judging by your reaction, are you not liking the track around Imola, because it can be quite difficult Imola, especially with high-speed corners and track. Why have I got that in my head then, Imola?
Probably Lord Lamb got into your head as Imola. No, it is China. So, so what handles you for China coming up? I know we haven't raced there yet for us, but what do you expect for the Chinese Grand Prix?
Not finish last. Probably a P19, P18. I'm expecting about 5 spins. Yeah, no, I'm really not looking forward to it. It's probably my worst track ever. Especially that corner, that long right-hander going on to the back straight. I know you just struggle with traction. I spin all the time. I don't like that corner. I can't wait to get rid of that track and just concentrate on the rest of the season after China, really.
Yeah, turn 13 is the corner you talk about on that straight. So yeah, I know how you feel about that. It is really difficult. So you got to be very careful how you manage to get the power. But yeah, really nice to speak to you, Oliver, today, and I'll see you tomorrow in the commentary box.
Are you heading off? Are you not interviewing Calvin? Are you?
No. I will interview Calvin. Don't worry. I would have ended the stream by now if I was gonna end it. But Calvin, mate, congratulations on P2. You in a very hard battle with Keith and Manso. Talk us through your race, because you must have been a bit frustrated too, trying to catch Lord Allen for P1, but you just got stuck with those guys behind.
Yeah, that was good fun, and I've never been in a race like that where every There's three of us changing position into each other and with no space and still getting through it without having any like big issues or anything. So I think me and Keith had one slight bit of contact, but you know, it didn't result in anything major happening. It was hard work. It was really hard work, but it was good fun. But as Manson said, I've raced against him for a couple of seasons now. Well, a fair few seasons now, and we've not had an issue. It's annoying, because we were briefly catching the guys at the front. I think we managed to pull it down for about just around about 4 seconds back to the thunder, and then we managed to got a bit carried away to a move and it got this happening in a second. Well, that was good fun, I think.
Was it all about DRS tactics too? Because that DRS on the straight is really powerful, and you made a move into turn 1, so I thought you would have stayed behind trying to re-overtake Mansell on that straight, but you put yourself in that position where you could have got overtaken by Keith and Mansell at the same time.
I was going to say that. Somebody may have turned their off. He was a bit slow on that straight because I did not want to pass him, and I had to do it, otherwise I was going to get passed on Keith's behind. And you know, I know he had a penalty, but if he tries to fight us and then we end up getting a penalty, obviously it brings him back into it. So it's one of those things where I kind of didn't really have the choice to pass him, but luckily I dropped back a little bit off the two of them and just stayed in DRS, built up my back up to full. So on the last 2 laps I was able to really get out of it again and managed to move up to second. So.
I think you did the same thing back in Silverstone when Burmeister and Dan were hunting you down. You saved the battery up in the last lap and used it all on the relative hanger straight, and you defended.
It's sometimes the easiest thing to do. It's just save it, wait till the end, get your pass done, and then you've got plenty to defend it. And Australia, that seemed the battery seemed to build back up quickly. So I was quite impressed by that.
Yeah, your EOS management and your tag tiers are very good as well, and you did it here in Australia, you did it here in Silverstone, so yeah, keep it up there, you did a good job. And in terms of your teammate now, you two were scrapping away in the first stage. What were you saying to each other at the party?
Well, we were talking, I mean, so, if he had a good run, he'd say it, and then I'd just like, on you go, and the same happened with me. You just say, right, on you go, it's all fun fighting. Kind of basically be a bit strategic with defence and all of that. So I thought if we rotate, we keep that position pretty well. So we can always have full battery to defend from behind. Obviously, he had an issue at turn 1 and it lost him. And unfortunately, that took him out of that battle. There could have been a 4, 5, 6 car scrap for P2 with how everything was going. Because unfortunately, some other drivers had issues. Like obviously, Sonic had a chance to win well, but unfortunately, he had a spin. And there's a lot of cases like that today where a lot of other people have been involved. It's just.
Yeah, I agree as well. And in terms of constructors, it really helps you to be up there. Sauber currently in the championship. I think your teammate is in the championship, isn't he? So, are you happy to gain a few points to your teammate in the championship?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, after my horrible time last week, I'd like to actually get some points again. Hopefully we can get another structures. We'll check for that. Get the race. So, no, we worked well to make it throughout the race. So, we make life as easy as possible for us. But we do have a battle every now and then. So we try not to have any bad with the other teams in it.
And Owen, you got any questions to Carvin?
You're mixing my names there. You're calling Owen first off.
No, I'm going for Calvin.
Sorry.
You meant to ask me that tomorrow, Jamie, not tonight.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'll ask you tomorrow.
But yeah, so in terms of the race today, Cal, what's the best part of the race for you? I know it's a hard one to pick out with the fighting and the battling against your teammate, but what has been the best part of the race for you tonight?
I don't even know, to be honest, that whole race. Fun. Coming out ahead of that little trio was probably the best bit for me, but all of it was fun. It was a good race. I enjoyed that. It was hard work, but it was good fun.
Has F124 then has producing the best racing so far in an F1 game in its recent history?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely up there with 2020. Of, F1 so
The peak.
still referred to as one of, if not the best. This is definitely, you can be so much closer. Ridiculous how consistent you can be. And that's all it is. You can be aggressive and fast, but as soon as you make a slight mistake, this game will punish you. Gotta be on it, and it's great when you're on it.
So what's your confidence going to? I know for you probably answered it, but what's your confidence going for China?
I have no idea. In a long time.
That's why I'm asking it. That's why. What's your confidence level's going to be?
We've never won I always had issues. This particular practical zones I tend to get a bit sliding. So hopefully I can get that reined in for next week.
If there's going to be rain involved in China, is it going to be much more of a tougher task?
Well, there's going to be rain in China. I think the last time we went to Florida, but they're probably just going to get rain in Florida.
I'm sure Mental will love to hear that.
To be honest, I'll probably do exactly the same as Calvin's strategy.
Just cut.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, massive GGs to the both of you. Well done, and thank you again for such a classic race. Unbelievable.
Well, thank you very much for the top three for joining the podium interviews. Lord Alam is probably in his Imola qualifier session. Calvin and Manso will probably rest until Manso commentates with me tomorrow night in Div 1 at 7:30. And Oliver, thank you for commentating with me tonight. It's been a pleasure as always.
And best of luck for me tomorrow as well. I finished in P13 in Belgium, so hopefully get a top 10 finish tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I'm not really strong about Australia, so we'll see.
Join us back for the Australian Grand Prix at 7:30 for Division 1. But for Division 2 and Division 3, we move on to the Chinese Grand Prix. Join us then on Monday and Tuesday at 7:30. We'll see you all later and enjoy the Dutch GP this weekend. I don't even know what I'm talking about. There isn't one. It's a summer break.